Well, hello, Whiskey Mates. It is Luke, and today's video is not a comparison. I'm doing something a little bit special. It's been about a year since I started seriously tasting whiskey, and I thought I would do a retrospective, year in review kind of thing, and just talk about some of the things I've learned, maybe talk about some whiskey, as I should, since these are whiskey videos after all, and yeah, just sort of review the year and maybe make some predictions. So first of all, I keep a Evernote notebook of whiskeys I've reviewed, and I've personally done about 40, tasted about 40 whiskeys this year, and I just wanted to talk about some of the ones that are kind of stand out for me. The first is this Glenmorangie. This is Glenmorangie, the original. Pretty low price whiskey, but you get a lot of bang for your buck with this. This is, I think, yeah, this is the first whiskey I bought, and I just keep coming back to it. It has enough depth that you can spend some time with it, but it's also really approachable. Great whiskey. I think this is like my 5th bottle or something. Glenmorangie. Always have some on the shelf. Next is Aberlour Abana, and this is they released this in batches. It's cask strength. This is batch 40. The first one I had was batch 38. And the reason this would stand out for me is just because it's incredibly delicious, basically. The 38 was a little bit better than the 40. I've heard that the 42, 44, I've heard some mixed reviews on those, so I don't know where it's headed, but the first one I had was just awesome. Next up, this is Springbank 15. The reason this is memorable for me is actually I've had this for, so you can see how full it is. I've had this for six months now, or 8 months actually, and the reason I haven't drank it is because it's actually too complex for me. I am unable to decipher the Springbank 15. I taste it and I can tell that there's a lot going on, but I don't have the words to describe it. So basically, I've put it on the shelf and I'm waiting until I feel like I can come back to it and get my money's worth, I guess. Next up, Brook Laddie, the Laddie 10. This was Ralphie's Whiskey of the Year 2011. I believe it was 2011, and this one stands out for me for a lot of reasons. Brook Laddie is a great distillery. They do a lot of craft style whiskeys where they care about quality rather than making a bunch of money. The character in packaging of this one is really great. Great color. The whiskey's good. Just a lot of fun, and price is reasonable as well. And then finally, for what I have here, Laphroaig. This is Laphroaig quarter cask, but Laphroaig 10 was actually the third, I think, second or third whiskey I bought, and the first peated whiskey I tried, which I don't know if I recommend it. Turns out I generally, just all whiskeys, I enjoy them all, so it was okay for me having Laphroaig 10, but if you don't like peat, you might be wasting your money if you don't know. Laphroaig 10 is just extreme, memorable for that alone, because it's just a smoke bomb, basically. And then I don't have one here, but the Compass Box Great King Street, of course, my whiskey, what I selected as Whiskey of the Year for 2012, is another great. It's a blend, and the Compass Box is great, and it's a good whiskey. So next on my list of things I wanted to talk about, useful things I've learned, and the first is trust your senses. So I do a lot of experiments where I'll do like a blind tasting, or have my friend select a whiskey off my shelf blind, and I'll have to guess what it is, or I'll have a friend give me a sample of some whiskey and maybe guess the age, guess the region, something like that. And in 80% of the cases, if I just listen to my nose and don't overthink it, or listen to my tongue, what I'm tasting, don't overthink it, I end up being right. So basically, if you're smelling something and that's let me give me a second here. So if you're smelling something, or if you're tasting something, there's absolutely nothing wrong with whatever you think it is. that's the whole experience of enjoying whiskey, basically. Enjoy yourself. Whatever you sense, that's what you sense, and that's totally fine. And most of the time, what you sense is what somebody else senses. So just trust your senses. The other thing that's helped me in just kind of understanding whiskey and being able to decide on what to purchase is thinking about regional differences. Now, regional differences are kind of a marketing gimmick, honestly, but there are some, I mean, basically because in a region you could have, there's always outliers, things that don't match the region as described by the marketing people, right? But basically you have Islay, you've got smoke. Highlands, you've got more floral, lighter whiskeys. Speyside, like richer, sweeter whiskeys, as they've described it. Lowlands and Campbelltown are the other two regions, and those are actually two that I haven't quite figured out yet. Lowlands in my mind right now is like a triple distilled Irish style whiskey, lighter, but I guess less floral than a Highland malt, perhaps. And then Campbelltown, I don't know. Still fighting with this Springbank. I haven't tried the other two Campbelltown whiskeys. It's Glengyle and something else. Get there eventually. Then another thing that's useful, a really useful thing for me, was learning about casks and how casks affect whiskey. So if you haven't done the research, go look at different styles, different types of casks, different sizes of casks, different like cask originations, where casks come from and what they're used for. So like a bourbon cask, sherry casks, wine casks. That will really help you when you're going and trying to learn about whiskeys. Unfortunately, they don't talk too much about the casks they use unless it's a sherried whiskey. But I would love to see more whiskey makers just say, basically, we've used these kind of casks in this whiskey, we finished in this cask, etc., etc., etc. Be really specific, because that really is interesting to me, how they made it. It's cool. So, literature. I have been enjoying some books. This was, let's see, so Scotch by Sir Robert Bruce Lockhart. This was a recommendation from Ralphie. I also recommend it. It's Robert Bruce Lockhart worked at, well, he was, yeah, he worked at Balmenic. It was his family that owned Balmenic. And this is sort of an account of somewhere between the 1850s to 1950s period of whiskeys. Really interesting stuff. Historical, but kind of personal also. Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible. Useful in that it is a giant list of whiskeys. I personally am not, I don't really like Jim Murray's ratings. I don't agree with him a lot of the time. So I don't know, it's kind of helpful to just kind of get an idea of what might be good, but correlate whatever Jim Murray says with someone else is what I do. But yeah, I use this to look up, you know, just to get an idea of maybe some other whiskeys from a distillery that you could look for, or something like that. Then one that I've really enjoyed is Michael Jackson's Complete Guide to Single Malt Scotch. This actually, the best part of this is the introduction. Michael Jackson's writing is really good. Just great descriptions, really interesting writing. And he goes into a lot of detail in this book about the whiskey making process. And that's very interesting. But this book mainly is just listings of, let me find a good page here. There we go, there's Balvenie. It's just listings of the distilleries, short description of the distillery, and some lists of, so this is Balvenie again, lists of the whiskeys, some of their expressions and ratings from Michael Jackson. Although Michael Jackson is dead now, and I think that they're still releasing this book, still updating it, and so the ratings are not necessarily his, although they're probably trying to, I guess, rate it as he would have rated it. I don't know. And then finally, this is the one that I'm working through now. This is Whiskeypedia by Charles McLean. Charles McLean is my favorite author at the moment, and probably will be for quite a while. The reason I like him is because he approaches everything as a historian. He is a historian, and so his writing is a lot more about the history of distilleries. This book is actually, style-wise, very similar to Michael Jackson's Complete Guide to Single Malt Scotch, in that they are it's just a big list of distilleries, but the details on the history of the distillery is more interesting. And one thing the reason I bought this book actually is because, let's see, let me find an example here. Yeah, so this is Glenrothes. In the section for each distillery, ooh, come on, he talks about, oh, that's not going to work. Yeah, let's do it this way. He talks about the, oh, there, maturation. He talks about the way, the kinds of casks they use. So, let me get the focus here. There we go. So, in my search for cask information, this is the book I came across. Please recommend a book or resources. I find it very difficult to get information about the kinds of casks used in making whiskeys. Okay, wrapping up. This wouldn't be a retrospective without some kind of predictions. So, prediction for myself, I think I'll be reading more books. I really enjoy the historical stuff, and I'll probably get through this, and then, I don't know, we'll go find some more books at the library or something like that. Predictions as far as whiskey goes in the following year. I think no age statement whiskeys are going to be really starting to spring up a lot more. What's interesting is that no age statement whiskeys are kind of, people don't really know what to think yet, but just from, if you go look at the whiskeys that are coming out on top a lot of the time in maybe not amateur but not professional rating sites where they're just getting a community together and reviewing whiskeys, things like Aberlour Abanaugh, Ardbeg Ugadal, Ardbeg Corey Brecken, they're coming out on top. Lefroy Quarter Cask is another one, actually. No age statement whiskeys are actually really good. And I think that distilleries are going to find a way to, basically they're doing no age statement whiskeys because they don't have the older whiskeys, but they do have good whiskey. So we'll see. Maybe that will turn out good. Hopefully it will turn out good. It'll be interesting to see how it develops. And then the other thing is, on that same note, I expect to see a lot more younger whiskeys. I have a blended whiskey on my shelf. The first whiskey I've seen where they've said on the bottle, 5 years old. And that's very interesting. They're actually stating that. They're proud enough of it that they're willing to state the age being only 5 years old. Normally you don't see more than, you see, if it's less than 10 years, they won't put the age on it, right? Or 8 in the case of Isle of Skye whiskey. Anyways, I won't bore you anymore. I just thought I'd do a quick review of my year, and hopefully you got some information out of that. And I guess I'll probably be doing more comparisons, but I'm starting to get more confident with my palate, and I may start doing some actual reviews and giving some marks on video. We'll see. But until then, more comparisons and just more enjoying whiskey. Till next time.